Well, folks, this might be a hot take, but I think South Carolina is going to be just okay. I think they're going to be just fine. Another dominant victory against a top-ranked opponent here as they dominate a TCU team that was joining them in the top 10, but it sure didn't look like they were in the same tier tonight. I got my thoughts. I got thoughts from players and coaches. Let's get into it on this No Cap Space post-game show. Let's start off with Mark Campbell, the TCU head coach, who I thought was an intriguing opening statement, purely because I think realization set in that, yes, success has been great so far for this TCU team, this new look TCU team, this program that has not really seen success even nearly as high as they've had so far this season. There's still a lot of growth to be had, and there was a lot to take from this game. Here's what he felt were going to be some of the biggest areas of growth going forward that they learned from playing against South Carolina.
Well, that was a tough game, you guys, but this game served its purpose. You schedule South Carolina in order to test yourself and learn where you're at this point of the season against the best program in college basketball. And this game, we learned a lot, and just the physicality, the toughness, they impose their will on you, and to feel that and go against it, it lets us know between now and March we got to get a lot better, and we got to grow in those areas. And credit South Carolina for doing a heck of a job today and playing a great game, and they made us uncomfortable, and they imposed their will, and we couldn't get in any offensive rhythm. We're one of the best passing teams in the country, and we never got settled enough to truly create for each other. And everything was just really, really difficult today. And so, great learning lesson. I'm thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for Fort Worth and the basketball community that came out to support this team and create a great environment. And we'll watch the film and learn and grow and get better and keep moving.
Now, look, I'm not going to lie. I was getting worried because I had been at South Carolina's last two losses, okay? I was also there for a win. You saw me in Charlotte. I was there. Boots were on the ground. But I was getting a little nervous. But because I was at UCLA, I did get to hear from Dawn Staley in that post-game presser there in person. And the biggest emphasis was on learning and growing from a loss, taking it and figuring out what to do next. So I asked her, what's different from the team that lost to UCLA to the team that has now strung together dominant ranked wins in this manner that, frankly, we've only seen from South Carolina this season so far? I asked, what were the differences? Here's what she had to say.
Tyler DeLuca, No Cap Space. Coach, following the UCLA loss, you talked about how that could be used as a learning experience, and since then you've had several massive ranked wins at this point. Is there anything that has seemed kind of tangibly different that you learned maybe from that loss and now has resulted in this string of wins?
I mean, we're defending, like our normal selves. We are very probably patient offensively. I mean, we know what really works for us offensively. We know when we reverse the ball, it increases our shooting percentage. Like, it's unbelievable what it is. Like, unbelievable. Even if we just get it back to the middle of the floor and go back to the same side, it's up. I think when we take bad shots, most teams make us pay for it. They actually did it tonight as well when we took a couple of quick shots, fast shots. We just can't allow the momentum to shift because our game is too good. Teams are too good. So when you create momentum for other teams, your opponent, there's really nothing your defense can do because they probably create numbers from our bad shots.
Now TCU is in that very similar position of coming off a loss. How do you go from here? Hailey Van Lith was asked about that, and as this team has an interesting mix of old players, younger players, an interesting mix. Here's what she decided were the best steps to take now following a loss of this caliber.
Yeah, I mean, we had to have a positive response. It's early in the season, and, we had a lot of self-inflicted wounds in this game that were we just played on our heels, and we let them be the aggressor all game long. And that's something we can fix. So that's the good part about it. We can have a mindset shift. We're going to watch the film. We're going to learn from this. And, we're going to get better. And hopefully we get another shot at a game like this later down the road.
Well, folks, you kind of heard it from Dawn Staley earlier, and the way that the ball is moving and the way that the threes were falling tonight, if South Carolina is shooting a decent volume of threes and are shooting over 40% on that decent volume of threes, I don't know if there's a team that can beat them. And I've talked a lot about the formula, right? And it is still different. It's still different. But I've talked a lot about the formula. And I'm starting to realize that the formula on offense, not that it doesn't matter, because it does, but realistically, and not that this is a surprise for the South Carolina team, but even without the dominant post that's anchoring the defense is still the main factor of it's still the biggest part of the equation for a Dawn Staley-led team. Certainly no surprise. But these couple games, the Iowa State game, now this one, this has felt like now the foundation being set for this team's ability to play on the defensive side of the basketball and doing it in pure dominant fashion. If they're shooting threes, if they're making stops, that's a hard team to beat. I'm excited to see how this team continues to grow. TCU as well is going to be an interesting way to see how they bounce back. This, like I said, this is a new group. This is a new experience for them. Now they have to go through it together. How will they do that? How will they bounce back? That's what we got to find out. Same with South Carolina and the way that they continue to grow, because it seems like they just keep getting better. And if I'm any other school in any part of the nation, South Carolina improving is a terrifying thought. That's going to do it for me here in Fort Worth, Texas. Look, we try and keep the boots on the ground as much as possible. This was a ridiculous trip, frankly. It was the traffic. Don't even get me started, okay? I'm tired, okay? And I miss Oklahoma traffic. There's nothing going on in Oklahoma. I miss the traffic. But thank y'all for tapping in with me here in Fort Worth. We're going to get the boots back on the ground here soon. But make sure you stay tapped in across the board. Substack, YouTube, everything's down in the description below. And I know by the time I'm recording this, it'll be tomorrow that a massive interview is heading your way from No Cap Space. Stay tuned for that tomorrow. I'll see you next time.